We're excited today to announce a 4-year contract extension for Coach Sandelin. I'll defer to the press release for the statistics, but Scott is overseeing one of the most successful eras in the history of the Bulldog men's hockey program. This past weekend and season is clear evidence of that. We're incredibly excited for our student athletes, for our community, for our campus, for our other programs, and to continue to be a source of pride in Bulldog country. So through 2021, we'll have Coach Sandelin behind our bench. We're excited about that.
Scott, any type of relief not having to go into the final year of your contract with some uncertainty or anything like that? Or?
Well, I think anytime you get an opportunity to stay where you've been a long time and I've really enjoyed, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. We would have done the same thing. If we would have went into the last year, we would have worked hard and tried to accomplish what we're going to every season trying to accomplish. So certainly it's great. Again, I want to thank Josh and Chancellor Lynn Black, like I said, for their support and you know, the opportunity to continue on as coach here.
Scott, maybe just give us your overall kind of thoughts looking back on the season with the expectations you guys had and then how strong you guys ended.
Yeah, I mean, obviously going into the year, I think we knew with the 21 returners and not losing a lot of guys that we were going to, you know, have high expectations, and obviously to be picked to win the league was not really a surprise to me just based on that. And some other teams, you know, certainly were capable of that, as we saw. I mean, that's why we don't, as coaches, pick that, because we let you guys do that because it's very tough. But, you know, our guys went in, you know, certainly with those expectations, I think, and a real strong belief that this group could do something special. And obviously there was some hard times. I thought our team played over the course of the year well enough to win more games than we did. I thought we obviously struggled to score goals. I've never seen it. I can only remember one other year where I think we really, really struggled to score, and I think that was Alex Stalock's last year, where a leading scorer had 18 points. But, you know, we were doing a lot of good things, and, you know, I'm really, really, really proud of our guys for just staying with it. I give a lot of credit to our captains, our leaders, our upperclassmen. I don't think the players ever lost the belief in each other and what they could accomplish. And obviously, you know, you come into January, early February, things were pretty bleak, but we stayed with it. We tried some different changes through the course of the year, and lo and behold, when you start the year with the lines that we had, we ended the year with the lines that we had, and kind of came full circle. But our guys just stayed with it and never lost that belief, and got on a run at the end. And obviously, you know, it came up a little bit short, but certainly I think we were playing our best hockey at the right time of the year.
How do you see next year's recruits fitting into the lineup?
Well, we got to see how many we're going to have first. Obviously, you know, you look at, you know, certainly the two forwards and Riley and Joey. They're elite players, and they're going to be young players, but they could be a major difference. But, you know, we're hoping that we don't lose anybody else, because it allows them to come in and not have to maybe feel that pressure right away. It'll certainly give us more depth, but, you know, probably the biggest hit was obviously we're going to be inexperienced in goal, losing Kaz and Matt. So that'll be an area that, you know, is going to be real young. And certainly on the back end, we're going to miss Andy and Willie. You know, Andy was a leader for us, played a ton of minutes over his time. Willie really evolved. So, I mean, there's going to be some holes there, but, you know, we got a couple guys coming in, and, you know, like I said, if we don't lose anybody else, you know, our decor will be fine. But we're going to certainly miss those guys, and obviously the guys up front. But I think our depth will still be there throughout the course of our forward group, and just some youth and inexperience in some different spots.
Jared Hilderman, is that a kid that can step in and possibly play right away on the blue line for you guys as a freshman?
Yeah, I believe he can. You know, again, you know, we've got some guys, even, you know, you look at our group, a couple guys that have been here for a couple of years that didn't play. You know, obviously Danny Molinar's played until he got hurt, and Nick McCormick, guys like that certainly have played games for us, and we know what they can do. So they're, you're going to kind of lean on those guys maybe a little bit more early in the year, but we'll see what shakes out here with the rest of the guys and who's back, and we'll move forward from that point.
What do you guys, when you head out recruiting now, are you focused on future? Are you still looking to fill holes for next year, or kind of all of the above?
Pretty much all of the above. I mean, obviously we need to bring in another goaltender, so I mean that's a priority right now. You continue to again, we're out there. There's still some uncertainty of who's staying, who's going. We have a couple guys that are playing junior hockey that could come in. On the back end, it's a little bit different, but probably getting a third goaltender, another goaltender here is a priority, and maintaining, the future kids too. I mean, I'm going to go out and see a few of those kids in the next 4 or 5 days, and they're kids that are probably going to make commitments soon. So we want to make sure that we're doing the right things and making sure that if they're the right kids, we're going to get them. So it is all of the above. It's never ending, that.
Avery Peterson, any update on him, and what are the chances of him being here in the fall instead of the winter?
Well, I mean, he'll be here.
Playing instead of the fall.
I think right now we're moving on as it was initially with him playing in the spring semester in January, and if things change, we'll let you know.
Do you hope with some of those guys who are still making their decisions that Andy's decision to come back and then what he said after the regional, you hope that carries a little bit of weight with those couple guys? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think Andy had his best year. I think that showed over the course of the year. I think he learned, again, he was a captain. He learned the leadership role. He was put in that, I think, maturity-wise. But, Andy's been a plotter his whole 4 years. He's gotten better every year. And I think this year, coming back, he saved his best year for last. I think he did a great job. He's an even-keel guy. He's not a real rah-rah guy in the room. He just kind of leads by example, and I think he did a great job. And I think hopefully those guys listen. Again, there was a reason he came back, and that was to try and win a championship and be a captain of his, hometown Bulldogs. And I think that that speaks volumes. So hopefully guys do listen to him.
Have you had talks with Dom and Susie about their futures yet, or?
I haven't spoken to Dom. I know Brett and Jason have. I talked with Carson, and so the indications right now is that he's not going, but that would be great.
What's non-conference schedule look like for next year?
Well, let's see. Well, there's a couple that are still, truthfully, there's a couple games that are still in the works because some things that transpired. But, obviously open the year at Lowell, Notre Dame at home. We've got the Minnesota Cup with Minnesota first, and then St. Cloud or Bemidji. And got Lethbridge, an exhibition game October 2nd. And hopefully there is a couple more games there. So
Home and home with the Gophers?
No, not next year.
Not next year. Okay.
No. Maybe down the road, maybe the following year. So scheduling's fun, Matt.
Following year's the icebreaker, right, Josh? Yeah.
Yep.
It's a rule change year for the championship committee. Anything you would like to see put in for next year and the year after? Among things that will be talked about?
Not a lot. I mean, I think I'm curious to see where the reviews are going to go, like we had. I know that was a big topic. The reviewing the penalties, could they be majors? I know that was talked about last year, so it's been experimented with a little bit more now because it extended to our conference and first round tournaments. So I'm curious to see where that goes. Again, I'm sure the regional sites are going to come up, which is, but again, I haven't really seen the major topics. But, there's one thing that maybe I know we discussed last year was, on the face-off circle, widening the hash marks, for, like the NHL did for obstruction of face-off. So I know that was brought up last year, but we couldn't do anything. So I haven't seen, usually we get some points here in the next little bit before Florida. So I give you a better idea what they're talking about.
I know you're on K-Fan over the weekend. They asked about the regional site issue. The regional finals were notoriously poorly attended this year. The 4 combined wouldn't have filled any NHL arena except Winnipeg. Is there a solution out there that might work?
I think the same comments are going to come up. Do the top 8 seeds host from the pairwise? Do you go to 4 campus sites of the top 4 seeds? Those are going to continue to come up. Again, I maintain that, if we find the problem's always been in the West, according to everybody, finding great spots. And to me, from my understanding, Fargo was outstanding. Yeah, granted, North Dakota was there, but the building was full, the atmosphere was great. So I think if you can find those spots, keep it there, grow it, much like your league tournaments. I think it bounces around a little bit and seems to be not as big of an issue in the East, according to everybody, but I don't know if there is a solution. I think there's a lot of people that like the neutrality of the games, and I think it has created a lot of potential upset games, which you see, which is what makes it exciting.
You see any changes around the rest of college hockey to overtime and an expansion of
I don't know.
3-on-3?
That's a great question. I think the older I get, the more I want to go back to just the normal. Let's just play 60 minutes. Let's play a 5-minute overtime, and if there's a tie, there's a tie. Everybody gets a point. I thought the 3-on-3 though was exciting. I did enjoy that. So there might be a push for that. But if you look at college hockey across the board, every league is different. Some leagues don't play as many games, but the standings are different in every league. Sometimes it gets confusing. There's still ties. As you saw, there was a number of ties this year. I'm not a fan of the shootout. So if there's any way, I liked what our league did this year as far as playing the 5-minute 5-on-5 and having the 3-on-3. So I'll be a proponent of that, if not just going back to the old way and having everybody on the same page.
Skip the 5-minute OT and just go right to 3-on-3. Give everyone a point after regulation.
Could be, I'm sure that'll be brought up, just like 4-on-4 every year and things like that. So I don't know how that would be. As long as we each get a point, I don't care.